If you're buying these 30 items at the grocery store, you're basically handing over your paycheck for absolutely nothing. And the worst part? The grocery stores are literally designed to trick you into doing it. I'm talking about a $2 item that costs 30 cents to make, and number 23, guys, this one's marked up by over 3,000%. I'm not even kidding. You know what's crazy? Most people have no idea they're getting ripped off every single time they walk down these aisles. But after watching this video, you're going to be that person who actually knows what they're doing. So stick around, because I'm about to save you hundreds, maybe even thousands of dollars every year. Item 1. Pre-cut fruits and vegetables. So picture this. You walk into the produce section, and there's this beautiful container of pre-cut watermelon for $4.58. Looks convenient, right? Clean, ready to eat, no mess. But guess what? That same watermelon, whole and uncut, is sitting literally 3 feet away for $4.27. You're paying more money for less actual fruit. I mean, come on. They're charging you extra to do something that takes maybe 2 minutes with a knife. And here's the kicker. Pre-cut produce can cost up to 3 times more than buying whole fruits or vegetables. 3 times. For what? Someone else's knife skills? But wait, it gets even more ridiculous. I was at the store last week and I saw pre-cut bell peppers, just regular bell peppers, sliced up, for $5.99. The whole peppers were 99 cents each. So they took 3 peppers, chopped them up, and suddenly they're worth $6? And here's what really gets me. The pre-cut stuff goes bad faster too, so you're paying more for less food that spoils quicker. It's like paying extra for a car that breaks down sooner. The grocery stores are literally banking on the fact that you're tired, you're in a hurry, and you don't want to deal with washing and cutting. But, guys, we're talking about 2 minutes of work to save potentially hundreds of dollars over the year. Item 2. Pre-shredded cheese. Okay, this one's gonna hurt if you're a cheese person like me. You know those bags of shredded cheese? They're significantly more expensive than buying a block of cheese and shredding it yourself. But wait, it gets worse. They actually add anti-caking agents, basically wood pulp, to keep it from clumping. So you're paying more money for less cheese plus some tree dust. Fantastic, right? I did the math on this one because I was curious. A 16-ounce bag of shredded cheddar costs about $4.50 at my local store. But a 16-ounce block of the exact same cheese, $3.20. And when you grate that block yourself, you actually get more volume because it's not packed down like the pre-shredded stuff. So you're literally getting more cheese for less money, and it doesn't have weird additives. The only tool you need is a $5 grater that'll last you for years. But here's what the cheese companies don't want you to know. That anti-caking agent doesn't just keep the cheese from sticking together, it also keeps it from melting as smoothly. So your homemade mac and cheese is actually going to taste better too. Item 3. Individual snack packs. This is where they really get you, especially if you have kids. Anything that you purchase individually wrapped, like a candy bar or a single serving bag of chips, is going to be astronomically overpriced. You're literally paying for the packaging, not what's inside. I've seen people spend $6 on individual chip bags when they could get a family-sized bag for the same price and portion it out themselves. But hey, who needs money when you have convenience, right? Here's a perfect example. Those little bags of goldfish crackers that parents love to throw in lunch boxes. 6 small bags cost about $4. But the big carton with the same amount of crackers? $2.50. You're paying an extra $1.50 for someone else to put crackers in tiny bags. And if you're worried about portion control, just buy some small containers or bags and do it yourself. Your kids won't know the difference, but your wallet will. I know a mom who calculated that she was spending an extra $200 a year just on individually wrapped snacks for her 2 kids' lunchboxes. $200. That's like a nice dinner out every month that she was throwing away on packaging. Item 4. Bottled water. This one's absolutely insane, and I'm going to be real with you. I used to be one of those people buying cases of water bottles every week. Bottled water is roughly 3,000% more expensive per gallon than tap water. 3,000%, unless you live somewhere where the tap water isn't safe And you can actually check that online with something called the EBUG Tap Water Database. You're basically paying premium prices for something that comes out of your faucet for pennies. It's like paying $50 for a hamburger when McDonald's is next door. But here's what really opened my eyes. I calculated how much I was spending on bottled water in a year. Are you ready for this? $780. $780 for water. Water! That same amount of water from my tap would have cost me about $12. $12 versus almost $800. I could have bought a really nice water filter, multiple reusable bottles, and still had $700 left over. And you know what's crazy? Most bottled water is just filtered tap water anyway. Companies like Dasani and Aquafina literally take municipal water, filter it, and sell it back to you at a massive markup. You're paying them to do something you can do at home for practically nothing. Item 5. Pre-made salads. Oh man, this one kills me. Every time I walk past the prepared food section, a pre-packed salad can cost $8 to $12. And that's before adding a protein. Meanwhile, you can easily build 3 to 4 salads at home for the same price. And guess what? They'll be fresher, more customizable, and way less wasteful. But sure, let's pay $10 for some lettuce in a plastic container. I actually did an experiment with this one. I bought one of those fancy pre-made salads for $11.99. It had some mixed greens, a few cherry tomatoes, some cucumber slices, and a tiny container of dressing. Then I went and bought the same ingredients separately. A head of lettuce cost $1.50, cherry tomatoes were $2, a cucumber was 75 cents, and a bottle of the same dressing was $2.25. Total, $6.50. But here's the thing, I made 4 salads out of those ingredients, so each salad actually cost me $1.63. That $12 salad was literally costing me 7 times more than making it myself. And mine were bigger, fresher, and I could customize them however I wanted. The pre-made one had been sitting there for who knows how long, getting soggy and sad. Item 6. Single-serve coffee pods. Coffee lovers, this one's for you, and I'm speaking from painful experience here. Single-serve coffee pods may be convenient, but they're also one of the most expensive ways to enjoy coffee at home. You're paying like $40 per pound for coffee that would cost you $8 if you just bought regular beans. And don't even get me started on the environmental impact. It's like burning money and the planet at the same time. I used to be a total K-cup addict. 2 cups every morning, sometimes more. Those little pods were so convenient. Just pop one in, press a button, done. But then I did the math, and it was horrifying. Each pod cost about 75 cents, and I was using at least 2 a day. That's $1.50 a day, $10.50 a week, about $45 a month just for my morning coffee. A bag of good coffee beans that would make the same amount of coffee? Maybe $12. So I was spending almost 4 times more for the convenience of not having to scoop coffee grounds. And honestly, the coffee from actual beans tastes so much better. Those pods are filled with stale, low-quality coffee that's been sitting around forever. I bought a simple French press for $15, and my coffee game improved dramatically while saving me hundreds of dollars a year. Item 7. Pre-mixed smoothies. These drinks are often loaded with sugar and markups. Brands charge a high price for branding and packaging, but you can make healthier versions at home with fresh or frozen produce and a basic blender. I'm talking about $6 smoothies that cost maybe 80 cents to make at home, and yours will probably taste better too. This one really gets me because they market these as healthy options, but when you look at the ingredient list, it's basically sugar water with some fruit flavoring. I saw a green smoothie the other day for $5.99 that had apple juice as the first ingredient. Not even whole apples, just juice, which is basically sugar. The actual spinach and kale were way down the list. You could make a real green smoothie at home with actual vegetables, real fruit, and maybe some protein powder for less than $1. Plus, you know exactly what's going into it. These companies are betting that you'll pay extra for the convenience and the health halo, but you're getting neither convenience nor health. Item 8. Greeting cards. This one's just straight up highway robbery, and it makes me mad every time I walk past the card section. You can get amazing greeting cards at the local dollar store for $1 or less. In fact, they are frequently 2 for $1. But at the grocery store, they're charging you $1.46 for a piece of cardstock with some words on it. It's literally paper, people. And here's what's really crazy. The cards at the dollar store are often made by the same companies. I compared them once, and the quality was identical. Same thickness, same designs, sometimes even the same jokes. But somehow, when they put that card in a grocery store, it magically becomes worth 5 times more. It's like they're charging you I forgot it was someone's birthday, and I'm desperate tax. And don't even get me started on those musical cards that play a tinny 10-second clip and cost $8. You could literally buy someone a song on iTunes for 99 cents, and it would sound better. Item 9. Ready-made guacamole and dips. These dips are better to DIY. You'll avoid the chemical additives, preservatives, and extra calories that come with the prepackaged versions when you prepare them yourself, and they're all pretty easy to make at home. Plus, have you seen the price of that tiny container of guac? It's like they're selling liquid gold. I looked at one of those small containers of guacamole the other day. 7 ounces for $4.99. That's like $11 per pound for something that's basically just mashed avocados with some lime and salt. Avocados were on sale for $1 each, and you can make way better guac with 2 avocados, a lime, and some seasonings you probably already have. Total cost, maybe $2.50 for twice as much guac that actually tastes fresh instead of like it's been sitting in a factory for weeks. And the homemade stuff doesn't have all those weird preservatives that keep it that unnatural green color. Item 10. Pre-seasoned meat. Here's what they do. They take regular chicken, sprinkle some herbs on it, wrap it in fancy packaging, and boom. Suddenly, it's $3 more per pound. You literally have spices at home. You can season your own meat and save a fortune. I saw herb-crusted chicken breast for $12.99 a pound when regular chicken breast was $4.99. The herbs? Probably 10 cents worth of dried rosemary and thyme. So they're charging you $8 extra per pound for less than a quarter's worth of seasonings that you could apply yourself in 30 seconds. You know what's really messed up about all this? The average American spending about $504 on groceries per month, and we're falling for these convenience traps left and right. These stores know exactly what they're doing. They're betting that you'll pay extra to save 5 minutes of your time. But when you add it all up, those 5-minute conveniences are costing you thousands of dollars a year. Item 11. Superfood powders. Oh man, where do I even start with this one? I used to be that person, you know the type, spending $40 on a tiny jar of acai powder because some Instagram influencer with perfect abs told me it would transform my life. Want to know what actually transformed my life? Realizing I was basically snorting overpriced berries. Here's the brutal truth. That tiny scoop of acai powder has fewer antioxidants than a handful of regular blueberries from the frozen section that costs $3 for a whole bag. These companies are literally selling you marketing disguised as nutrition. And get this, the FDA doesn't regulate most of these superfood claims, so they can basically say whatever they want on the label. You want real superfoods? Spinach, broccoli, and regular old berries. Revolutionary, I know. Item 12, organic everything. Okay, before the organic police come after me, let me be clear. Organic has its place, and I'm not against it entirely. But here's what's driving me absolutely crazy. People are going broke buying organic versions of everything, even when it makes 0 sense. Not all items warrant the extra cost, and I'm talking about stuff like organic bananas where you literally throw away the peel anyway. The pesticides aren't getting through that thick skin, people. You're paying double for peace of mind that you don't actually need. Here's what smart shoppers do. They focus on the dirty dozen list. These are the fruits and vegetables that actually absorb pesticides through their skin, like strawberries and spinach. But that organic onion that costs twice as much? Total waste of your hard-earned money. Save the organic premium for things that actually matter, and use the savings for something useful, like your retirement fund. Item 13. Gluten-free products, when you don't need them. This trend makes me want to scream into a pillow. Unless you have celiac disease or legitimate gluten sensitivity, and I'm talking doctor diagnosed, not self diagnosed from a Facebook quiz, you're throwing money away. Gluten-free bread can cost 3 times more than regular bread. And here's the kicker: it's often less nutritious. They strip out all the good stuff and replace it with processed starches and gums to try to mimic the texture. You're literally paying extra to eat worse food. I've watched people spend $6 on a loaf of gluten-free bread that tastes like cardboard, while the regular whole grain bread sitting right next to it for $2 actually has more fiber and protein. If you don't have a medical reason to avoid gluten, you're just paying the trendy diet tax that food companies love to collect. Item 14. Store-bought kombucha. This one makes my wallet cry just thinking about it. $4 to $6 for a tiny bottle of fermented tea. Are you kidding me right now? You can make a gallon of kombucha at home for less than $2. All you need is some tea bags, sugar, and a SCOBY, which you can get for free from any kombucha brewing group on Facebook. But somehow, these companies have convinced us that this fizzy tea is some kind of magical health elixir worth restaurant prices. The probiotics? You get more beneficial bacteria from a cup of plain yogurt that costs 50 cents. I started making my own kombucha during the pandemic, and now when I see people buying those expensive bottles, I just want to shake them and be like, you're paying $6 for what costs me 30 cents to make. The markup is absolutely insane. Item 15. Protein bars. Here's a reality check that's going to hurt. Most protein bars are just candy bars with protein powder mixed in and a fitness model on the wrapper. You're paying $3 for something that literally costs maybe 50 cents to manufacture. I used to buy these thinking I was being healthy, until I actually read the ingredients. Sugar, more sugar, some dates to make it sound natural, and a scoop of the cheapest protein powder they could find. You want to know how to make a better protein bar at home? Dates, nuts, a scoop of protein powder, maybe some dark chocolate chips if you're feeling fancy. Boom. 5 minutes of work, fraction of the cost, and you actually know what's in it. Plus, you can make like 20 of them for the price of buying 6 at the store. Item 16. Fancy nut butters. I'm talking about those $12 jars of artisanal almond butter with superfoods mixed in that take up half the nut butter aisle. Regular peanut butter, the stuff your grandparents ate, has the same protein, the same healthy fats, and honestly, the same satisfaction factor. But somehow we've been convinced that unless our nut butter contains goji berries and costs more than a nice bottle of wine, we're not reaching our full potential. You're literally paying for prettier packaging and buzzwords like raw and activated. Newsflash: nuts don't need to be activated. They're not cell phones. Item 17. Detox teas. This is where I get really heated, because this stuff is straight up predatory. These detox teas that cost $30 for a box are basically expensive laxatives mixed with regular tea leaves. Your liver and kidneys detox your body for free every single day. That's literally their job. These companies are preying on people's insecurities and selling them expensive bathroom trips while promising to cleanse toxins that were never actually there in the first place. You want a detox? Drink water, eat vegetables, and get some sleep. Revolutionary concept, I know. Item 18. Energy drinks. A single energy drink can cost $3 to $4 and gives you the same amount of caffeine as a cup of coffee that costs about 30 cents to make at home. But here's the thing. You're also getting a sugar crash that'll leave you feeling worse than before, plus a grocery list of chemicals that your body has no idea what to do with. You want better energy? Try a banana, some green tea, or just getting more sleep. Your wallet and your heart will thank you. Item 19. Vitamin water. This one really gets under my skin because it's such obvious marketing manipulation. You're paying $2 to $3 for colored sugar water, with a few synthetic vitamins thrown in. A basic multivitamin costs about 10 cents per day and gives you way more nutrition, and actual water is basically free from your tap. But they've got fancy bottles and celebrities endorsing them, so people think they're buying health in a bottle. You're not. You're buying expensive pee, because that's where most of those synthetic vitamins end up anyway. Item 20. Premium plant milks. Specialty milks like oat and almond at premium prices are absolutely crushing people's grocery budgets right now. A carton of oat milk can cost $5 when oats literally cost pennies. You can make oat milk at home by blending rolled oats with water and straining it through a cheesecloth. Takes 5 minutes, costs about 25 cents, and tastes exactly the same. But we've been convinced that unless it comes in a fancy carton with minimalist design, it's somehow inferior. The markup on these plant milks is absolutely criminal. Item 21. Name brand spices. Brand name spices are often overpriced and don't necessarily offer better quality, and this is one of the most ridiculous markups in the entire grocery store. That tiny bottle of McCormick oregano for $4? The exact same oregano in the bulk spice section costs about 50 cents for the same amount. We're talking about the exact same dried plant, just different packaging. I learned this when I started shopping at ethnic grocery stores where you can buy a massive bag of cumin for the same price as one tiny bottle at the regular supermarket. These spice companies are basically selling you fancy labels and the convenience of not having to think about it. But here's the thing. Most spices lose their potency after about a year anyway, so buying those huge expensive bottles is actually counterproductive. Buy small amounts of generic spices more frequently, and your food will taste better, and your wallet will be happier. Item 22. Designer pasta. This one's going to blow your mind. Most pasta sold in America comes from the same handful of factories, regardless of what brand name is slapped on the box. You're paying $6 for artisanal pasta, when the store brand for $1.50 was literally made in the same facility with the same wheat. I found this out when I was dating someone who worked in food manufacturing, and let me tell you, it was a real eye-opener. It's wheat, water, and maybe eggs. We're not talking about rocket science here. The only difference is the marketing budget and the fancy box design. Save your money for the sauce ingredients that actually matter. Item 23. Expensive cleaning products. Remember that 3,000% markup I mentioned at the beginning? This is it, people. Generic or store brand cleaning products often contain the same active ingredients and work just as effectively as the name brands. That $8 bottle of Lysol versus the $1.50 store brand? They both have the same disinfecting chemicals. The only difference is how much you're paying for the privilege of seeing a commercial during your favorite TV show. I started reading ingredient labels during the pandemic when everyone was obsessed with disinfecting everything, and I was shocked to discover that the cheap stuff was often identical to the expensive stuff. You're literally paying for marketing and brand recognition, not better cleaning power. Item 24. Premium coffee beans at grocery stores. Buying prepackaged gourmet coffee beans from the grocery store can add up quickly, and here's why. You're paying grocery store markup on top of brand markup on top of packaging costs. That $15 bag of small batch coffee probably costs $3 to produce. Here's what coffee snobs don't want you to know. Most grocery store premium coffee has been sitting on shelves for months, slowly going stale. You want actually good coffee? Find a local roaster or order directly from coffee farms online. Better quality, better price, and it was actually roasted recently enough to taste like coffee instead of burnt cardboard. Item 25. Name brand vitamins. This one should be illegal, honestly. Generic vitamins have the exact same active ingredients as name brands. The FDA actually regulates this stuff, but they cost literally half the price. You're paying extra for prettier bottles and celebrity endorsements, not better nutrition. I used to buy expensive vitamins because I thought I was investing in my health, until a pharmacist friend explained that vitamin D is vitamin D, whether it comes in a fancy bottle or a generic one. The molecules don't know how much you paid for them. Item 26. Fancy olive oil. Unless you're a professional chef or you're drizzling it raw on finished dishes, that $25 bottle of estate-grown first cold-pressed olive oil isn't doing anything different than the $6 bottle from the regular aisle. Most cooking destroys those subtle flavor differences anyway. Heat breaks down the delicate compounds that justify the high price. Use the cheap stuff for cooking and save the expensive stuff for finishing touches if you even need it at all. Fun fact, a lot of imported olive oil is actually blended with cheaper oils anyway, so you might not even be getting what you think you're paying for. Item 27. Gourmet salt. Salt is sodium chloride, period. That $15 jar of Himalayan pink salt has the same basic sodium content as the $1 container of table salt. You're paying for Instagram-worthy crystals and a story about ancient mountains, not better nutrition, or even significantly better flavor. I went through a phase where I collected fancy salts. Black Hawaiian, smoked this, flaked that, and you know what I discovered? For 99% of cooking, regular salt works exactly the same. Save your money for ingredients that actually make a difference. Item 28. Artisan bread. That $7 sourdough loaf might look rustic and charming, but unless it's from a quality bakery and consumed the same day, you're probably better off baking your own or buying decent store-bought bread. Here's the dirty secret about most artisan grocery store bread. It's often made in the same industrial facilities as regular bread, just shaped differently and priced higher. A basic bread recipe costs about $1 in ingredients and takes maybe 20 minutes of actual work time. Plus, your house smells amazing while it's baking, which is worth something too. Item 29. Premium ice cream. Here's the cold, hard truth. Most premium ice cream brands are owned by the same companies that make the regular stuff. Ben & Jerry's, owned by Unilever. Haagen-Dazs, General Mills. You're often paying $3 extra for the same base ice cream with slightly different mix-ins and fancier packaging. The store brand often comes from the same dairy facilities, just without the marketing budget and celebrity endorsements. Item 30. Expensive condiments. That $8 bottle of Gourmet ketchup versus the $2 store brand. It's tomatoes, vinegar, sugar, and spices. The expensive version might have slightly different ratios or maybe one additional ingredient, but you're essentially paying $6 extra for marginally different tomato sauce. I did a blind taste test with friends once, and half the time people couldn't even tell the difference between the fancy stuff and the regular brands. You know what's really insane about all this? Grocery prices are up 28% in 5 years, and these brand markups are getting more ridiculous every single year. The grocery stores and food companies know that people associate higher prices with better quality, so they're literally training us to waste money. It's psychological manipulation at its finest. Here's the bottom line that's going to save you hundreds of dollars a year. Store brands are made in the same facilities as name brands about 70% of the time. You're paying for marketing campaigns, not better products. And honestly, in an economy where everything costs more, but wages aren't keeping up, that's just not smart anymore. Take that extra money you save and put it towards something that actually matters, like your emergency fund or a vacation or literally anything other than lining the pockets of marketing executives who think you're too dumb to read ingredient labels. Look, I get it. We've all fallen for these tricks at some point. I used to spend like $200 a week on this stuff before I woke up and realized what was happening. But now you know better, and knowledge is power, right? So here's what I want to know. Which one of these absolutely shocked you the most? Was it the 3,000% markup on cleaning products? The fact that most pasta comes from the same factories? Drop a comment below and let me know which grocery store ripoff you've been falling for, because I guarantee you're not alone. And hey, if this video just saved you a few $100 a year, and let's be honest, it probably did, smash that like button to help other people avoid these money traps. Your future self will thank you when you're not broke from buying overpriced oregano. I'll see you in the next one.